Even plug in my phone or my computer yet.
We've
Came
started.
all the
We're
way up
live
here.
now.
Look.
We're live
Oh my
now.
goodness. Hello.
Oh,
Do you know if you plug in your computer in with like the second thing, will it plug in? Will it charge?
shit.
Or does it have to be the first thing? Hey, it's
Yep.
charging. Okay, it may not charge as fast, but it'll
Perfect.
keep it alive.
As long as it keeps it
Sorry,
going.
right before Dad pressed live, I realized my computer was dying. So I had to run upstairs to where my charger was, rearrange a little bit. And then I forgot to plug in my computer. So now we're here.
Now we're back. We're ready to get started.
Yay! How
So,
you doing, Dad?
I'm good. I'm good. I had a hard time waking up this morning.
Yeah?
I don't want to get up this morning. So, whoop. There we go. We're having
Now
a
it's you who's having
we're having
problems.
a time.
We always are having a time.
We're having a time here. There we go. And let's center me here again. There we go. Our heads are about the same size. We're good.
There we go. That's good.
All right. Well, let's start this thing up here.
Let's do this.
Wait a minute. That's the wrong one. Let's get the right one. No. You would think after a year and a half of this or whatever, we'd have this figured out, but no,
Do you think?
maybe not. Maybe not. Let's start it again. Welcome to Take It Down a Notch with Rob.
And Lindsay.
There you go. And the crocodile or lion or
How is this a
Lizard.
lion?
lizard.
This is Mr. Cramp Crocodile that I bought. You're supposed to be able to warm it up and it smells like lavender. Although I bought it and forgot that Hugo and I decided not to do a microwave in the apartment because it takes up a lot of space and I didn't want it. And this would be like the only reason to get a microwave. So, anyways, it's useless except for the fact it smells good. And his name is still Crown Crocodile. I'm actually gonna probably bring him back to the U.S. and just leave him in the U.S. He doesn't know that yet, but yeah. Anyways, I'm in
Go
the
for
loft,
11.
which is currently isn't lavender like toxic or something?
I don't know. To me, it is. Ugh,
I don't know. Anyways,
not a fan.
well, then your office would smell like lavender.
Well,
Anyways, I'm
that might be an
in the
improvement.
loft, which yeah,
You're
I'm
in
in
the
the
loft.
loft, which is currently my like office space, except for the fact that the reason why it's my office space is because it is incredibly warm because it's summer and it's the top floor of the apartment. And so we don't use this space very much, but we have the little extra mattress up here that's like kind of a couch, which is what I'm on now, and all of my books and all that kind of stuff, and all my stuffed animals. So, yeah.
So
That's what
is it
it's
hot
that's
today?
this summer.
Is it hot today?
Not as warm,
Okay.
not as warm, but a little.
Okay.
Is my connection not very good?
You're looking good to me.
Or is that okay?
Looks
We
good to
keep
me.
talking over each other and I can't tell if that's me or if that's you.
No, it's me. It's me.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll pop into it. But yeah,
There
no,
we
the
go.
weather's been a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot of people would probably complain about the weather because it's like raining today, kind of gloomy. It's still a little bit humid and still like a little bit warm. Feels like it should be cool. So I still have to have like all the windows open. But I feel like that's also just because I want the apartment to be cold.
Right.
Is not what I'm like craving is for it to be cold. So that I can like put on like a sweater or a sweatshirt, or I can actually like cuddle up in my blankets or something, which is not that cold. So,
So you're craving
but it's
sweater
not like
weather.
burning hot. Yes, I want sweater weather.
She wants
I'm ready.
pumpkin lattes and sweater weather.
Which when I go back to the US, it'll be pumpkin latte time. It won't feel like pumpkin latte time yet, but it will be pumpkin latte time, and at Trader Joe's, all the pumpkin stuff will be out. So
Ugh.
we're probably gonna stock up and bring some stuff back to the US or back to France. Hugo loves the pumpkin stuff,
Ugh.
or at least he used to. I'm curious to know if he'll still like it as much. But yep, I'm probably gonna bring back like the pumpkin pancake mix. It's really good from Trader Joe's.
Take it all, all of it from all of the United States. Just take it all. Ugh.
We found okay, so there's a store called Aldi, which is like almost like a grocery outlet. Like it has that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Not as like inexpensive though. But it's still sometimes it's a deal, sometimes it's a ripoff. But
Right.
anyways, they have like random things that are like Trader Joe's. Like we bought like bagels the other day that were Trader Joe's.
Really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
they were like vacuum sealed ones. I've never seen them at Trader Joe's.
Hmm.
And there's nuts that are like Trader Joe's and like dried fruit and stuff.
Hmm.
Obviously stuff that like can be kept longer, but I'm wondering, I'm like, maybe is there some sort of Trader Joe's in Europe, or is this all coming from the US? Like, I think Trader Joe's is only a
Um.
US company.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But I think maybe some of the stuff might be made not in the U.S. So
I
probably
think some
what
of
made
it's
it to
made
the
not in the US.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
So
thinking.
I think
And
that's
some of the stuff
so
has like
it's
an
made and
Aldi
packaged.
brand.
Hmm. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
made
it
and
has like an
packaged
Aldi
somewhere.
brand, and it's like, yeah, it's just it has it on with the Trader Joe's brand. It has like both.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Hmm.
Anyways,
Anyways,
so
so
um, I had an idea
no.
because
We're not ready for the idea yet. So what happened with
what?
what happened with the soccer game that you
Oh, yeah. So
the football?
we didn't end up going. So we there was a thing. Let me see how I explain. So basically, the way to buy tickets for it was that you could buy a group like set of tickets or more than four tickets, and they'd be 15 euros each.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, like the cheapest ones were 30 euros.
Mm.
And we were planning to go with like a few different friends, and so we were waiting for those to become available,
Mm-hmm.
but they never became available. So they must have been sold out like a week ago,
Uh,
which is normal. But all the other games, you could buy tickets all the way up until the game. Like they
uh,
were available. And so we weren't expecting them to be unavailable. And then by the time that we decided, it was like a day before, or maybe yeah, around like the day before, we tried to buy tickets and there were none available
mm,
until like 90 euros per ticket. So
mm,
we didn't want to spend that much money.
yeah.
But we think why it sold out so fast, like the other tickets, is because it ended up being, I think, Brazil and France.
Okay.
Um,
And a Saturday night
so,
and all that
and
stuff.
it's a Saturday night. And it's the France women's soccer team apparently is really, really good. And so, yeah, we were excited. We really wanted to go,
Yeah.
but it didn't work out. We should have just bought tickets a while before, but we knew so many people that had bought tickets like a day before for other
Yeah.
ones that we were like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Um, so,
Okay.
oh well, no, it didn't work out, but that's
So,
okay.
is there other talk of the Olympics in France in your circles, or
Not
are we just ignoring it?
really. No one like no one that we really know is like super involved in the Olympics.
Okay.
Um, or like super excited about it that like we've talked to at least. People are kind of casually watching it. A lot of like these people are kind of keeping track of like the medal count, but not really. That's what
Right.
Hugo's doing.
Yeah.
But not really watching. I know some like we were talking with his uncles and they were kind of keeping an eye on it too. And um, so yeah,
How's
our it
how's
was so
France doing?
there's
How's France doing in the medal
I think
count?
France is like one of the like it keeps changing between France, China, and the US,
Yeah.
which makes
Yeah.
sense because those are like,
The home country generally gets a boost in medals when they host,
well, if you
events
look
like
at
that.
like how many they have close to the same amount of athletes as the US,
Yeah.
and the US has the most. So if you look at it like that,
Yeah.
so and then there's a whole thing. I haven't heard too many French people talk about it yet, but bet it'll be a big conversation because they shut down all the Seine swimming events because of the athlete that got sick. I don't know if you have you heard about that.
I didn't hear they got sick. I heard that the people that were swimming in there saw unspeakable things and didn't want to talk about it.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that. I'm not surprised by
So,
that, but
like,
they did one after like it being kept being tested, kept testing wrong.
yeah.
They decided to just do one event, and then somebody from that event is sick and is in the hospital from E. coli.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so they had to cancel everything else. I think she's like either Belgium or Netherlands or something like that. I'm not
Mm,
sure, but she's European.
mm.
Doesn't matter. It's still horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't
Um,
matter if they're from
yeah,
Mars.
and I personally think that that whole event should just be like the people like they shouldn't have given out medals for it. They should just exit out completely.
Mm,
Um, it's just not. It doesn't seem fair at all. So, but there's lots of things with this Olympics that are quite controversial.
really.
So, yeah. So, um, yeah.
But nobody's tried to stop the trains anymore or any of
I
that
don't think
stuff.
so. I don't think so. I feel like I saw something about. No, no, I don't think
Okay.
that there's been anything else.
Okay. I haven't heard about
Um,
anything.
yeah, I don't think I've heard about anything either.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's been interesting to hear everybody's point of views on because everybody's talking about the American election here too, and
Mm,
Kamala Harris and everything. So that's been kind of interesting, just to see like what they know and like what their opinions are on it,
yeah.
because you can tell that their opinions are definitely whatever is being pumped to them through the news cycle in
Right.
that way, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it's not quite completely non-biased, but it's almost non-biased, what they
Right.
pump out here through the news cycle. I mean, compared to the news in the US nowadays,
Yeah.
it's very non-biased compared to that. And so it's very interesting. A lot of
The
people, you think the
yeah.
very liberal people here, even, they're very, um, not that they like Donald Trump, but it seems like a lot of people are supporting Donald Trump over Joe
Kamala.
Biden and now Kamala a
Mm,
little bit. They're a little. They're not. I think a lot of people aren't sure what to feel about Kamala Harris.
right.
But no one over here liked Joe Biden.
Oh really?
Um, it was very. Everyone was like, "There, he's a joke." Like I didn't hear a
Yeah.
single positive thing from anyone French, and you know that's just like that's. But that's how our. What's interesting about it is because that's how our country is being
Bad.
displayed to the rest of the world,
Yeah.
and so and that's what people are gathering. Um, and so you can tell because most people don't spend enough time on the politics to know a lot about the politics. Some people do. Some people are really interested by it, just like
Right.
how some, Americans are really interested in European politics, but
Right.
it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
So,
No, from a different country. You get, like we'll get French news, like with your
yeah,
elections that happened and stuff like that. But it's a very small amount, and you're
yeah,
not getting multiple sources. You're just usually getting one, maybe
yeah.
two, uh, sources.
You
So
do get
and
yeah,
it's
you
a
don't get
different
that many
perspective.
sources, but you do get a lot more
Yeah.
overall world news, but also you get a lot of American news here.
Yeah.
Um, because there's
Well, it's a
not
different
because one,
perspective there too, because you're not, you know,
yeah,
not so much. I mean, the crime and stuff like that is a curiosity, but it doesn't.
mhm,
If the local, you know, Macy's gets
yeah,
taken for $1 million, it doesn't really affect France. But if our policy towards Ukraine changes,
Yeah.
it affects France, or our policy towards Israel or whatever.
Yeah.
It makes a difference to you guys quite, or to the French
Right.
country and European countries quite a bit. So it
Yeah.
it makes a difference. So yeah,
Well, and
it's an interesting perspective.
yeah. Well, and also um it's also interesting because a lot of French people don't realize how large our country is, and so I'll often get remarks of like, "Oh my gosh, how is your family doing?" When there's like, I don't know, some big weather thing happening in
Yeah,
Florida,
yeah.
and I'm like,
There's a hurricane in
I don't,
Florida right now. Or
I
just
don't know anyone in Florida. You know, it's like I'm not. It would be
right,
like as if something was happening in Germany, even more than that. You know,
right.
and I think so. That's what another thing that's interesting about like the news here, because often with like a lot of people are like, "Oh, how can you live in the U.S. because of all of the weather, the tornadoes and the this and the that?" I'm like, because it doesn't happen everywhere. I'm like, yeah, I'm like we
Yeah,
have like an occasional small earthquake, but all of that is like so foreign to the people who
yeah,
live in France specifically.
yeah,
Um, so that's kind of another, and like occasionally they'll be like on like the local news, they'll do like a little section. I don't remember what that's called, but they'll do like a, I don't know, what is that called? Like a chapter or whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
Like
A segment.
a segment. That's what it is. Segment. I was like, what is that? I'm not sure. But like there was one time I was at Hugo's parents' house and they did a segment on road rage. And oh my gosh, they make America seem like so violent. Like it happens
Yeah,
every day to
yeah,
everyone. You know, it like has that viewpoint.
yeah,
And it's no wonder why the rest of the world sees this as such a violent country
yeah,
that just struggles with gun violence and has shootings twice a day. You know, it's
yeah,
just like it's very because all what they're getting mainly is the news,
yeah.
and they feel like if that's happening in one city, it's happening everywhere.
Right.
Uh, Not that it isn't a problem, but it's just I don't know. It just opens up your eyes a little bit, and it also
Yeah,
makes you think about like how important are you have to think about who we're choosing as our president or as other political
yeah,
people because they're the people who are representing, they're the face of our country. Not only are they making the political decisions, but they have to be the face and the person who's representing America.
yeah,
So I just think that's kind of something I probably didn't think about that much as a kid.
yeah,
Um, or when you're talking about politics, sometimes you don't really think about that.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, and how much of that makes a difference on what other leaders do? You know,
yeah,
um, what you know, what Putin does, or what you know, Iran does, or Iraq does,
mhm,
or any of those different countries, depending on what leader, what the position or strength or weakness of the United States is, makes a
yeah,
difference. So it's it is a big thing, and yeah,
hmm,
it's interesting.
especially as such a big country.
Yeah,
Um, but also, I mean, we see it in other countries too, like the even smaller ones. Whenever there's a big leader change or what's happening in, it's not El Salvador, but there's another country. I can't remember the name now.
hmm
It might be El Salvador. I don't think so though. The one that had like the big
Venezuela.
election,
So Venezuela. My,
maybe that
yeah,
might be it. Venezuela. The one that had the big election problem and everything, and
right,
um the big everything that's happening there, I mean that affects
right,
in smaller ways, of course not as much as the citizens that are there, um but it affects and shows, you know, us as much as our own history does, you know, like you
right,
see what I mean, like um I don't know, I think world news is more important than I think America. I don't feel like America values world news as much as it should.
right,
Like I don't think that we have enough world news, um more now that we have TikTok, Instagram, like you have easier access on a day to day,
right,
starting out with like Twitter, or now X, but we so we have it a little bit easier. We're not just relying on news stations, but I think that I don't know. We're so focused on our own problems that we don't really, as just person to person, don't think about everyone else's politics.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the social media has changed, especially I think TikTok um,
Yeah.
really has changed um, news information to, especially to the youngs, uh,
Yeah.
the younger population. I think um, it's really changed, and I think that's one of the reasons why, um, the U.S. government's so worried about TikTok. So now is TikTok a thing
Well,
in France, in Europe?
it is.
Yeah,
I didn't like the algorithm as much. Um, Probably because they might be a little bit different than it is in America. It's
right.
definitely different, but I'm not sure exactly how that
Yeah,
plays into the whole problems the US is having with it. I don't do TikTok anymore because it's
right.
time sucking life force, but
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I
but now they
cannot do
put
it.
but now they put TikTok and into everything else.
Yeah,
It's like
but it's not the same.
it's not as bad.
Life doesn't disappear as much.
It's not as bad, but it's awful. Yeah, I'll go into
Uh,
YouTube. I'll go into YouTube to watch a video to have it up, and it's like clicking through and like, and I don't even realize that I've clicked on a short, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh well, that
right.
was 30
That's
seconds.
yeah.
Oh, and the next one, and then you're like, oh, well, we'll just go to the next one, the next one. Like, I didn't even want to watch shorts. I wanted to watch a 20-minute
That's
video
that's what
and
I
that I
really
could
don't
just
like
have
about
on and I could do,
yeah,
whatever menial task I had going on. It's like, oh, get rid of
yeah.
these stupid shorts and YouTube or Instagram. It's Instagram
Yeah.
is the worst one. It's like, oh, so, but uh, but TikTok for algorithm, TikTok I think is the best. But I don't. I'm the same as you. I had to get rid of it
I
because
yeah. Well, and I do think that they did do something with the algorithm to encourage political division.
yeah,
I I do agree with that, and I know that they have some sort of evidence for that, and that's one of the reasons why they had the whole
yeah.
court thing or whatever. Um,
Well,
but
they're talking about
I don't think it's a bad thing to get rid of it.
yeah, they're talking about outlawing it in the U.S. But the
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it's a bad idea.
yeah, well, I I don't think it'll happen. I am worried. I am a little worried about it, but it it
Yeah.
definitely it like you were saying on um, people in France, they only get that one thing.
Mhm.
Um, it would be very easy to only feed a group of people certain
Yeah.
information and no other points of view and
Mhm.
really rile up people over something that's not real.
Well,
Or
and we've already seen that so much with like the cancel culture that we have
yeah,
nowadays. You're seeing so much of that. Like I know that there's a couple online that I was following through like short form content while the mom while she was pregnant. And now there's this whole scandal that came out because somebody like a family member of hers released a mugshot of her husband, and everyone immediately jumped to knowing that they thought they knew the whole story
right.
and was like sending him death threats
Yeah,
because they thought that he had abused her when and then they finally came out with their real story,
yeah,
and it wasn't like that at all, and it's much more complicated like every story. It's
yeah,
much more complicated than you can just imagine, but it can really hurt people's lives, and we see that, and I think that,
yeah,
and because we have such trust, because I don't think the newer generations have any trust with the news organizations,
yeah,
or with a lot of people in power. I don't think that we have much trust in those people at all.
yeah,
At least I think a lot of people don't think that they do. They maybe do, but they don't think that they do. And then, but all these smaller creators that you feel like they're your friends,
yeah,
you feel like you know them personally, and that's what's really deceiving.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're seeing a lot of things like that with false information going around with just all the problems with the Olympics
Yeah.
and information that hasn't been totally cleared yet by anybody official, but there's all these ideas and they're coming out as fact.
Yeah.
Or that's why YouTube, I think it's YouTube, has a thing that tells you whether the doctor or that you're listening to is an actual doctor or whether he's just calling himself a doctor and giving you medical advice.
Right.
It's just because that is a problem is people are
Yeah.
taking medical advice from people online because they say they're a doctor and within a 15-second video have diagnosed them and
Yeah.
they totally believe it. And so I think we are very vulnerable to being manipulated right now through social
Yeah.
media.
Well, and uh, you have um, they call it confirmation bias. So you
Mhm.
you wind up, especially that's one of the issues with YouTube with all these algorithms is it gives you stuff that you want, which is great when you're looking for workout videos or
Yeah,
crafting videos and
it's
stuff like
a
that.
yeah.
But if you're getting only right wing videos or progressive videos or whatever, and it just reinforces your bias and doesn't give you any because that's what you want. That's your drug.
Yeah.
Just as feels better and better and better, and then you wind up going down, and you don't realize that you've gotten into crazy land.
Yeah.
You've gotten into the
Well, and
crazy
you're
land
only
part
getting you
because
think
you've
that
just
everyone agrees with you
yeah, and it's just
instead
like
of
how could anybody see anything different?
yeah.
Um, and then there's a whole other group that are on the other side of the scale getting the same crazy stuff from the other
Yeah.
side, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is just nuts.
Yeah.
And so and I don't know what the fix is because I I agree with a lot of people that the mainstream, the quote unquote mainstream group, isn't doing their part either. Um,
Mm.
they're they're emitting facts that don't agree with
Mhm.
what they think for
Yeah.
in a certain point, and they're pushing facts that agree with their point of view. Um,
Mainstream media is just as biased as if I was to my political views are
yeah,
biased. And I know that,
it's a,
and they're
it's a
biased to
little
my beliefs.
it's a little better because they do have they're not laws, but the rules they have a certain amount of rules, but it's
But there's so many
but it
loopholes.
yeah, well, it's not a law. I mean, they can break them or
Right.
whatever, but there is a certain amount that they're supposed to you know
Yeah.
actual journalists are supposed to been taught on sourcing stuff and things like that as
Right.
opposed to X
But
where you're just
But they
like I
also
saw
know
that.
how to yeah, but they
Yeah.
also know how to use their words to make people believe different things. I mean,
Right. Right.
just as, like, an example is, like, the Trump like, we've talked about this already, but, like, the
Right.
Trump, attempted assassination and how that was covered. I mean, you saw so many different titles, and so many
Yeah.
people at the beginning, it was, "Oh, Trump was scared by a loud noise. Trump was assassinated. Trump was
Yeah.
almost killed by a terrorist," like,
Yeah.
all these different things, those big headlines, especially now in like our short form content brains,
Yeah.
that even I mean is affecting almost every generation now.
Are you
Is
are
our
you still
brains
getting
are
it? Are you still
so
getting any information on the assassination stuff over there,
I've been
or is it
watching
just done?
speaking of short term form content, I've been watching little bits of the FBI, not the FBI, the Secret Service
Mm,
that investigation.
yeah.
I would really like to watch the full thing because I'm curious to see how biased the clips I'm watching are, like, because it's clips can be really deceiving. They can clip out just a little bit and leave out really important information.
Yeah.
So I'd like to
Well,
see the whole video, but it's
as far
long too.
as the Secret Service goes, um, neither side's happy with those guys.
I don't think so.
It's
Well, I mean,
it's
because
I mean
they're protecting both
progressives,
sides.
yeah, progressives and conservatives are both. Um, they're they're not happy. Um,
Well, no,
I mean,
from the evidence
it's a
I've
bad.
seen,
It's bad. There's just no
no,
good. There's no.
no.
There's no. There's no way to cut that was good.
Doesn't I
Um,
mean, even if one side wishes that something would have worse happened,
yeah,
they don't want the same people that let that happen protect them.
right.
So it makes sense that, like
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, it is a huge mess.
yeah, it's not good, not good. So hopefully, hopefully this was a wake up call and they can get the Secret Service straightened out because it's I don't know if everybody else's protection is quite as horrible as what they had for Trump that day, but um,
Too bad.
yeah,
I
but it's the same thing as far as
There's a lot of different things, but
yeah,
I
but
mean, yeah. I mean,
the
you know my viewpoints on it.
yeah.
I think it'd be boss if, all of the Secret Service were women, but it would be really great if they were tall, really bulky,
They were
really
Amazon
athletic women
women.
that
They were
that
Amazon women. That would be fantastic. Just
yeah, that would be great. I mean, there are
6 foot 6,
definitely
200 pound, just
there
massive women. That'd be
there
great.
are definitely women that would be great Secret Service agents. The
Well,
5 foot 2, not sure how to handle a gun,
I,
it doesn't really
I
represent
think.
how powerful women
Well,
can
and
be.
I think you need. I think you need even if they're not 6 foot 2, 200 pound women. I think you need a certain percentage of women's Secret Service because they guard women. I mean,
Oh,
if
100%.
Kamala becomes president, they they need women to be. I
Yeah,
mean, they need big dudes too. They need big, brutish, massive dudes. But
yeah,
when she goes into the water closet, maybe you have a woman go in there with her. You know,
yeah.
even if
No,
she
I
is
agree,
only
yeah,
5'6", and
yeah.
but maybe she's an expert marksman and knows how to
Yeah,
put her
they need
gun
to
in her
bring
holster.
something to the
Might
team.
be a
Yeah.
plus.
It just
Let's
it's
start with
one or the other.
let's
Either
start
you
with
need
your
to be
draw.
big and meaty or you need to know how to handle a gun. I don't know, I was under the impression that Secret Service were basically equal to a Navy SEAL,
They're supposed to
and
be
I
the
think
best of the best.
exactly, and there's no way. There's no way that if those were the people who were protecting me and my family, I would be extremely unhappy. So it makes
Well,
sense why there's all
it
this.
sounds like a
Yeah.
certain percentage of those people were not actually Secret Service, so
Yeah.
that they were from Homeland Security, which is not the SEALs. That's more like the regular Army
Yeah.
or the regular Navy. So
Yeah.
get my branches straight. SEALs or Navy. I know that. Sorry, but I mean, it's they're and not to disparage the non Navy SEALs,
No, but
but
maybe they shouldn't be
it's
the
not.
ones protecting the who used to be a president. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter that he's running, right? He used to be a president. Like, and he is running right
Well,
now. It doesn't matter
and
who he is. Those
it's
two things.
whether you like Trump or not like Trump,
No.
or or Kennedy Jr. or Biden or Kamala,
No.
if any one of those three people were assassinated, that would put our country in peril.
Oh,
it would
yeah.
mess with our economy. It would. I mean, there's just a lot of things. It's very
More
important,
simple things.
and that's why we have that group of people to
Yeah.
guard those people because it makes a difference. If somebody kidnaps the president's mother, son, daughter,
Right.
whatever, it would put the president in a bad situation,
Yeah.
and would mess with the whole U.S. economy and maybe the world economy.
Yeah.
It's very important that that those guys they're doing, no matter whether you agree with the person they're protecting
Yeah.
or not, makes no
And
difference.
no matter whether you agree with the person or not either, I mean, they're still also a human being. And so
Hmm.
the wishing harm on anybody is just so
That's
disgusting.
just yeah,
It,
it is
it's disgusting. It doesn't matter
that's
who it is. We don't, especially
yeah.
especially I feel like as Americans, I feel like as such a privileged country,
Yeah.
we have no right to wish harm on other human beings.
Yeah.
Not that other people do, but there is just nothing American about wishing somebody else harm
Yeah.
in that way, you know, and so that is just disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It's hard. My YouTube feed is full of um, assassination stuff. So I was just wondering how
Yeah.
much. And I think part of
I
that
think
is
mine has kind of
because I
cycled
have
out.
more conservative leaning, um,
Yeah.
that it, they're feeding me that stuff, and a lot of the videos are clickbait. They're just like
Right.
this big thing, and then you watch the video. Who goes there?
He goes home. Bye.
Hello, hello. It's very good.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? You don't have headphones on, do you?
I don't have headphones. They're too warm. Why are you? You're in work clothes.
Oh, never mind.
You look clean. You look
He is
fine.
not. No.
I'm fine.
He's fine. A little dirt. God made dirt. It's good. Welcome home, Hugo.
Yeah. If you want it. If you're going right to the gym, maybe not get it yet.
Thank you.
Your gym clothes are in the bathroom.
Yes.
Going to the gym?
Like chilly.
Do you even lift,
Yes.
bro? Do you even lift?
Yes.
Just a little.
Trying to do better. But I did have quite a few improvements. I'm stinky.
It smells like tacos. Do you get tacos with that beer?
I got diesel on me, but
See, this is why are you on the bed? No.
okay.
No way. You can talk about his gym journey later. Goodbye.
I will. Goodbye.
Goodbye. That's
He's
funny.
not allowed to do anything.
Diesel and
immediately.
tacos smell the same to Lindsay. That's pretty good.
It smells like spicy.
Yeah.
Like chili.
Yeah.
No thank you. No, I think I don't know if I've talked about it on podcast before, but I completely blame mom that when she came home, it was no hugs, don't touch me, I must go shower, I must go take off my clothes, not even the dogs were allowed to touch her until she
Yeah, yeah.
changed after work.
Yeah.
And I think I have that same, and then after doing like housekeeping and like
Yeah.
feeling so disgusting after work, I now apply that to Hugo. He's not allowed to do anything until he changes. I just
That's
can't.
funny.
I can't deal with it. So especially because I know how dirty his job gets, and
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah, he's not allowed to sit on any furniture or
Just
anything.
for reference for anybody that's listening that doesn't know, mom is a nurse, and so
Oh yeah.
she could be germy. So
Oh
she-
yeah.
she
Very. It
worries-
totally makes
she
sense.
worries about any type of stuff on her clothes that would not be good
Yeah.
for other people. So she does.
It
She
does make
comes home and changes, make sure everything is
Mhm.
taken care of. Not that she comes home covered in blood or anything like that, but you just never know what's
Yeah.
what's on her clothes. So
Yeah.
so she does.
Well,
she
and-
is,
and
she is very
Hugo-
much no hugs, no nothing till
Yeah.
I get changed. So
And Hugo, in a very different way, can be covered in dust and apparently diesel, and because he repairs vacuums, and sometimes when he's repairing or restoring a vacuum, it's been. I know, like there was one time where there was wine in it that had obviously been in there for way too long, and it just was really gross. And I don't know. He's told me other really disgusting stories,
Yeah.
and
these are
that doesn't help.
these are commercial vacuums, not like your
Big
home
big
vacuum.
commercial vacuums. Yeah. And even at home vacuums is gross because it's like
Yeah.
it's like dust and like skin,
Yeah.
and I
But
don't
they-
need that in my home.
People wondering why they have diesel in vacuum cleaners. So is he chatting?
Yeah. You're absolutely disgusting. Love you. He's getting slightly offended.
As he should be.
So, anyways,
But-
how are we doing on time?
We are about 40 minutes in.
Should we do one of our questions? Or I feel like maybe we should.
We
Maybe
I
stop
thought
talking
we were.
about
I thought we were on our
things.
questions. We have.
I
more
know
questions?
it really slides in well. One of the questions
Yeah.
is social media platforms should fact check all content, which I think is
Yeah.
interesting.
No.
We're not going to go on that because I think that's a silly question. I
Yeah.
think that's an unreasonable standard.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my opinion on that. I think you agree.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think we should start with the first one. Pop music today lacks originality.
Well,
Yes or no?
mostly just Taylor Swift, but other than that, no.
Taylor Swift's the only one that doesn't lack originality.
I just want to rile some people up, or just one person. So
Or just like get canceled. Also, like our main listener is Katie,
I know
and
that's the person I was
she'll
riling
never
up.
be friends with you.
She'll never know that I'm apologizing now because she will have already deleted
She'll already
the,
have left.
the video, and she knows I'm on Team Tay Tay.
Yes,
She
you are.
knows.
You better be.
I
You
even
have
put on
to.
a Taylor playlist when we worked together the other day.
Really?
So
Oh, that's so cute.
now the Taylor playlist, the first song was not a Taylor Swift song, but that's okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's random.
somebody else that she's going to her concert or something. Another girl.
Oh,
I can't remember who
like
it
one
was.
of the
Not
probably
somebody I
Sabrina
listen.
Carpenter.
Yeah, I think that's who it was. Somebody I don't
Yeah.
really listen to. So I was like, what
No,
the what?
yeah, they're Sabrina is I think an opener for has been for a lot of her shows and will be or
Mm,
continue to be. Um, so yeah.
anyway, but
Um, so what do you think?
oh, pop
Do
music.
you think pop music lacks
Forgot
originality?
what the question was. Um, I don't really know. I don't really think I follow pop music besides like Taylor Swift. Um, and I don't really, I don't, I don't really follow her current stuff. I mean, I follow kind of what she's doing because
Right,
she is the she is the
right.
Elvis she is the Elvis Beatles of the 2020s. I mean,
She really is.
she is the thing. Um, like her or not, she is the biggest,
Yeah.
craziest, force to be reckoned with. Um, but other than that, I don't really even I don't know much about pop music really. What's the hotness? Do you know? You don't
I
fully follow
have
pop music either.
a
What do you?
lot of opinions on this. To preface, I'm probably I don't listen to a lot of pop music either.
Hmm.
Mainly because I think of this. But I also think it's really I think conservatives nowadays and Christians need to be really mindful of the mistakes we've made in the past
Hmm.
with um pop music and rock music and
Hmm.
like just automatically assuming that it's like satanic.
Right.
But I don't like the direction pop music's gone in these days.
Hmm.
I mean, it's hard not to say it's like getting a little bit in that direction because they're literally dressing up as like demons and stuff.
Right.
I mean, ever since like the Little Nas, shoe thing, um, there's a lot of like darkness in pop music. So
Yeah.
there is that. But
Right.
I also think that sometimes maybe we take it maybe too seriously, and kind of just like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like that. Creeps me out. So
Right.
I'm gonna step away from it. But so there's that. But I think that what happens a lot is like there's like one trend and it's repetitive for like
Yeah.
6 months. It's like it
Yeah.
sounds like the same song, but
Right.
it's 15 different songs. And I think again, going back to the whole TikTok thing and how that's changed it,
Yeah.
it's really changed the music industry. I mean, really, I think that artists are just trying to have a really great upbeat chorus or something that can be used for TikTok because
Yeah.
then it's heard a lot and it's like being on the radio is like being on a TikTok trend.
I really
And
like I really like um the TikTok because I'm not a I like music, but I'm not a music
right,
geek, I guess, a music
right,
nerd or whatever you want to say. I really like the
yeah,
TikTok videos where they'll go and put together two different songs from like two different
right,
genres or not genres, but different time periods,
right,
and how it's like the same song, you know.
Yeah.
Or and they'll kind of fade it in and out and do it. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I would never. My brain doesn't work that way.
Right.
Unless somebody's like, here's A, here's B. Look how
Yeah.
similar this is, and how they go together. And it's like,
Yeah.
um, and I can't think of any examples right at the moment, but it's
Well, I
like
mean, it's
how
something that
it's like
has
that's so cool,
yeah,
and but also it's like, oh look at that, we've just recycled something else. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and, like, I mean, we've almost always been able to see that, and I would learn, like, in music theory classes or even my choir classes. I can't remember what chord it is, but there's, like, one chord was used in, like, all of the most famous songs for, like, a
Yeah,
10-year
the
generation.
progression, the chord progressions.
That yeah, that chord, like, that, it's reused. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's a new issue. I think it's just
yeah,
something that we've always done with music is that
yeah,
we like one thing, we repeat it. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay, trumpets will be a really big thing
yeah,
for a few months, and then it'll be, oh, this really big bass here, and
yeah,
the
yeah,
same, okay, the drop,
yeah.
like those kind of things.
Well, and
Just like
there's
anything else,
definitely,
it's like with fashion.
yeah, and
And
there's
so
a
I
formula.
don't know if
There's a
it lacks
formula for,
originality, but
yeah,
it's very repetitive.
yeah. There's a formula that music people have for making stuff that's going to be super catchy. Like the I think one of the big complaints was the Beyonce put a ring on it was just like
Right.
so formulaic that it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, of course it's going to be a hit because they just basically put it into the computer, it popped out, and then they put
Yeah.
lyrics to it. It's like, here you go, this is it. You need this, and then these have a rhyme here, and there you go, and it's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
If you have access to the pipeline, this will be a top 40.
Yeah.
Go for it. Um, and that's what they did with the boy bands. Back in the
Yeah.
whatever that was, and very formulaic, and you're
Yeah.
leaning over and cutting off most of your face. There you
Sorry.
go.
I can't
You can
see I can only see my big screen. I can't see
you want to
what
lean
the
over, you gotta move the computer over, keep you in the center. Losing part of your eye is okay, but we were down to less than half of your face there. So anyway,
I can't
yeah,
lean back, so I keep leaning over.
yeah. No, it's
Anyways.
yeah. Lindsay can't see what YouTube sees.
Yeah.
She has a
I
wider.
have a different
I
view.
can see both screens. What my pre and post is, but Lindsay doesn't get that. If we send it back to her, then it's really delayed. So it yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's fine if we like it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like,
It's like
I
that's
don't think I
okay. I think
mind it.
it's
Like,
okay.
yeah, I mean, if it has a certain, like, I like when a certain artist has a certain sound.
Yeah,
So I think it must be the same for other people where they're
yeah,
like everything has the same sound. So I don't think it lacks originality. I just think sometimes it gets a little bored or repetitive.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. It's like what's the whiskey song is, it has counting and it's a whiskey and a shot of
Oh,
whiskey, and
yeah,
I can't remember who sings it, but it's like
yeah,
I really like the song. I don't think it's a great song, but
right.
it's very kind of gets you.
Yeah,
I have
you
it in
like
my
it.
gym. I
Yeah,
have it in my gym playlist. It kind of gets the blood
yeah,
going, and it's it does, but I don't think it's like, oh wow, this is a fantastic song. You
yeah,
know, uh, so yeah. Anyway, I think we did that. I think we
yeah.
did that. That covered that
Well,
question.
should we do another one or should we go ahead and wrap it up?
Let's do one. We'll do one more and then we'll wrap it up. You
Okay,
got
so
time for one more?
there's quite a few. So,
Pick a good one.
okay,
Pick a winner.
so let's be careful when we're answering this, or I need to be careful when we're answering this one. People should be required to pass a test before becoming parents.
Ooh.
Go, you're a parent, so I feel like you have to have first say. That's why I'm not going to say much, is because one, I'm not a parent, and two, you're my parent, so I shouldn't say much.
Well, there's in a perfect world, yes, and kids should come with an instruction manual. Would be
Oh,
really
okay, well
would
that's an
really
obvious.
would really be really good. If we could get a license to become a parent and an instruction manual, not just one for every kid, because you
They're
know,
all so different,
because
which
we
is I
keep
think is what
getting
we talked about
people
last
keep
week a little.
yeah, people keep writing instruction manuals for kids, but they're giving us an instruction manual for a Ford Model A, and we got a Tesla, and it they don't. The, we wound up with a kid without an internal combustion motor that this manual's not helping us much with. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a cruel trick God's playing on people. That here you go, you're gonna get a
Kid.
kid, and you're gonna have absolutely no idea what to do, and hopefully you don't screw it up too bad. So, but I also think, as going gone through it 3 times, being a parent,
Mhm.
and then watching my friends go through being parents, and kind of coming out on the other side for the most part. Most of my peers
Right.
are on their downhill, side. Their kids are, um, most of them are 18, and
Right.
varying degrees of launching. That I'm not sure how much um, parents really have to do with how their kids turn out. I think I
Mhm.
think I think they have the
That's something we've talked
ability.
about a
I
lot,
think they
yeah.
have ability to screw it up. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely if put the kid in a box and shoot peas at him for food through, and that's it. And
Right.
you know, you abuse the kid, mentally, sexually, physically. You
Right.
have the ability to really to break a person. But I
Yeah.
think for the most part, from what I've seen we tried to do the best we possibly could for you guys,
Mhm. And I think
and
all your friends tried to do their best too.
yeah, but um, yes, they all my friends tried to do the best they could by their kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but their philosophies, their tactics for doing that, a lot of them were
Mhm.
completely different than what we did,
Yeah.
um, and some of those kids are fantastic.
Mhm.
Some of them are less than fantastic. You know, and I and families with multiple kids that you know one might be you know to society, wow, like they're,
Right.
going off being doctors, lawyers, whatever, and then another sibling is you know minimum wage job,
Yeah.
barely making it, whatever. um, all raised in the same household, all kind of ran through the same system, same schools, same. Um, and what makes that different? I don't know how much effect there definitely is. I'm not saying there's no effect, but I don't. As a parent, your mom and I really stressed out a lot about everything,
Right.
trying to make all the best decisions, make all the and all 3 of you guys have turned out so differently. I
Yeah.
just wonder how much we stressed over. Do we do cloth diapers or disposable
Right.
diapers? What food to feed you? What school?
Yeah.
What classes? What this? What that? You know, manners,
Yeah.
and I mean, and a certain amount of that you gotta teach people manners. You gotta teach
Mhm.
independence and things
Well,
like
and there's
that.
a certain amount of, like, bare minimum of, like,
But
okay, you gotta feed the kid. The
yeah,
kid needs to go to school, but how what school does it go to? What do you feed like you were saying, what do you
yeah.
feed?
But
Like, all those kind of things that you're right, could probably
I
be
I know kids that
yeah.
the parents have done nothing. I mean, they put them in daycare. They just did, and just not a lot of
Yeah.
thought put into it, and just or at least in my perspective, the kids are not priority or whatever, and
Right.
a lot of those kids turned out fantastic. They're great
Yeah.
kids. They've adjusted. They're part of society. They're not, um,
Yeah.
and it's totally different than what I would want, than what I would think how I would want to raise my kids, and
Right.
it's really, um, it, I don't want to come across as it makes no difference. Parenting makes no difference. It does.
No.
It does make a difference. But what I kind of caution young parents on is relax. Don't
Yeah.
don't stress. It's not you
You're
you have a lot less influence into this child's life than you think you do.
mhm.
Do your best and don't stress out about whatever it is. Whether you can't afford this or that or you had to work too much or you know, do what you can. I mean, if don't
Yeah.
if you can't, you can't. And if you can,
Yeah.
do it. And do the best by that little human as possible, but it's they're going to turn out how they're going to turn out,
Right.
and there's so many other factors going into that, other people, other um, it you you do your best you can, but you have a lot less influence than you think you do. You turned out how
Yeah.
you turned out despite what mom and I did. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think you've turned
Well,
out
because
fine.
everybody has their own
But
personalities
you're
and like
completely different.
things
You're
that are
completely
embedded.
different than Trevor. You
Yeah.
know, you're completely different than Robbie, and
Yeah.
I could say the
Well,
same thing about all of them.
and I'm also completely different from you and mom. And I think
Yeah,
that's the other thing too is that like of course I have a lot of similarities to my parents and there's a lot of things that were embedded like overall morals and
yeah,
things like that. But um everybody's going to turn out everyone has their own personality they're going to turn into
yeah,
and no one is copy paste.
yeah,
And I think that you're right. I think we see a lot of parents putting a lot of pressure that then results in a pressure on the kid or just pressure on themselves. And then when their kid does anything somewhat wrong, it's their fault.
yeah.
And yeah, sometimes that might be true depending on what it is.
Right.
Like if you don't feed your kid and your kid gets really sick, or like if
Yeah,
you only feed your kid candy and your kid gets really sick, yeah, that's kind of on you. But there's other things, especially when they're adults, they're going to make their own decisions.
yeah,
And that doesn't completely reflect on the parents as much as I think that you're right, the new parents feel like they
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Um,
So it's yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting. I would love studies done on that.
right,
Looking at 1,000 different kids from different um, lifestyles and how they turn
right,
out and how they were raised, how much of a difference that makes, and it does. Your environment. I think your environment makes more different than
I
anything else.
I would
If you
agree. Yeah,
if you, I don't think it's necessarily a given if you grow up in the poorest parts of New York, or LA, that you're gonna, you know, that you can't change that, and
hmm
or if you're born to the Rockefellers, that you absolutely are gonna be, successful, rich. You have a much higher percentage that if you're a Rockefeller, that you're gonna do well,
right,
and a higher percentage if you're born in a real, you know, to two parents making, one of them
yeah,
making minimum wage, that you're going to be poor for the rest of your life. I mean, that's the odds, but it
hmm
it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be. I mean, I think
yeah,
it's up to that person um, to take advantage of the opportunities that they have. So, anyway,
yeah,
it's and maybe I'm just naive American dream. Anybody can go from nothing to being the president of the United States. I don't know, but it, you know, that I mean,
yeah,
it's you could, you know, come to this country penniless and become, you know, a
yeah,
millionaire. And I know it's possible. I've seen it, but uh, it's I don't know.
yeah.
So wow,
Okay,
that got deep.
well, there we go.
That got deep.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. I feel like that was a pretty good podcast.
Yeah,
Got deep. We talked about some sensitive subjects. Talked about some,
there you go.
you know,
But
life things. So
Yeah.
I'm getting like I'm starting to sweat like a cow. So
Okay. Well,
we could end the podcast.
you go sweat some more at the gym, and we will chat later. It's good to see you. Won't be long. A few more weeks. You come out
Yeah,
end of the month.
end of the month.
So
I'll be
excited.
there.
We talked to Martina on Sunday, Saturday,
Yes.
sometime this
Yeah.
weekend. That was fun. So she's getting ready to
Good.
come out.
Yeah, she's coming right before I am, like a week before.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about diffusers, by the way, but we can do that another time.
Okay. Cool.
not for
we go.
not for oils, for hair. Anyway.
Okay, I
with
thought so, but I was
With that, we'll sign off. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Oh, we changed animals. See ya.